Tonight on 1,000 Places to See Before You Die.
Outrigger is a great way for anyone to be able to feel that rush that surfers feel.
Albin and Melanie touched down in America.
Come on, Mel. It appears to me to be just a tropical paradise, and that's what I'm expecting to see.
Reveling in their first visit to heavenly Hawaii.
I've heard about Mount Kilauea my whole life. My whole life I've heard about this place, so I can't wait to see it.
On the island of Oahu, we explore Honolulu, a buzzing metropolis and one of the world's great beachfronts.
And it's just the greenest green. I love it.
And discovered the Big Island, twice the size of the other islands combined, and the most primal landscape in the chain of the Hawaiian Islands.
I can't believe we're watching this in Hawaii.
All this and more tonight on 1,000 Places to See Before You Die.
I don't know what we're gonna do there, but I have a feeling it involves being in the sun and relaxing, which I am completely looking forward to.
You see only 936 full moons in your lifetime. You live through only 312 seasons. And you get only 88 weeks of paid vacation. What if you had the chance to see the world? Meet Albin and Melanie Yuli, newlyweds with a spirit of adventure, who leave their lives in Colorado behind to go on the journey of a lifetime. Inspired by the book, 1,000 Places to See Before You Die, they lead us on a 5-month, all-expenses-paid odyssey around the world.
Some people have said to us, how can you put your life on hold? And our response is, how could you not?
1,000 Places to See Before You Die.
Aloha.
Hello.
Aloha. Thank you so much. This is a nice welcome.
You know, when we were lucky enough to be picked for this travel experience, and we heard all the exotic, incredible countries we're going to be going to.
Just up to Honolulu this evening?
Sadly, the one that I'm most excited about is going to Hawaii. You've seen so many pictures of it. Appears to me to be just a tropical paradise.
It's hard for me to even get my head around the fact that there's a huge city, Honolulu, on an island.
The island of Oahu, the third largest of the Hawaiian Islands, is home to the state capital, Honolulu, and 75% of the state's population. Oahu means gathering place, and from the early days, Hawaiian royalty chose unspoiled Waikiki Beach as their home base. The colony there endured in part because the outrigger canoes easily navigated Waikiki's shallow waters. To this day, it's a joyride hitting the waves of this beautiful beach.
We're ready when you are. My name is Fritz. We're at Waikiki Beach. I want you to sit right here. I'm a surf instructor, the second captain on the outrigger canoe. And when you guys paddle, I want you guys straight up and down. Just reach forward, pull back with your bottom hand. We use this outrigger for catch surf outside of Waikiki Beach. And we take out tourists out there. Have a lot of fun. Here we go, let's go. Polynesians started using the canoe back in the 1800s. Okay, here we go, guys. It's just like surfing. Not catching the wave, it's the same smoothness. It's just like riding a Cadillac. Just reach forward, pull straight back. It's like Hawaii 5-0, you know?
They went pretty fast on Hawaii 5-0.
Oh, yeah. On surfing, it takes a lot of work. But canoeing, you have a lot of people that goes with you. Makes the work easy. You have to use the outrigger for fishing, sports, all kind of activities.
What is the purpose of that extra? Is that the actual outrigger or what? It's extra.
That's the ama. That's the brace to keep the boat tipping over.
No.
Hold on.
Hang on. Whoa.
Okay, paddle forward. Guys, okay?
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that, guys.
Don't get excited.
Don't get excited. It's only a swell, guys.
Just doing a little bailing. Here's another one.
Oh, no, we're fine, right?
Heads up, surfboards. Heads up.
So you gotta let the surfers know we're coming through.
Oh, yeah. It's like
taken out.
Okay, let's go. Go,
Okay,
go.
everybody, let's go.
Come on, let's go, you guys. Paddle hard.
Pull hard.
Come on, Canal.
Come on, guys.
Harder.
Little harder, guys. Come on.
Harder.
Come on, Tom.
great way for anyone, regardless of your skill level, to be able to feel that rush that surfers feel.
I didn't realize that we were going to be riding waves. This is why surfers like it so much. Because you do a little bit of work and get out there, and then you just get to enjoy harnessing some of that power the ocean's got. It just takes you for a ride.
All the way back to shore.
An icon of Waikiki Beach, the Royal Hawaiian is also known as the Pink Palace of the Pacific. This beloved hotel is set on the broadest stretch of beach in Waikiki and satisfies even the most discerning guests.
My name is John Gersundi. I'm the general manager of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. The Royal Hawaiian Hotel is located in the heart of Waikiki. The Royal Hawaiian was constructed and finished in 1927. And it was the first truly luxury hotel of its time. As the history goes, the Royal Hawaiian Hotel was modeled after the Rudolph Valentino movies in the era of the Moorish Mediterranean architecture. And it was pink back then, and the pink color has remained ever since. The world-famous Mai Tai bar, boy, it has a history in and of itself. Many of the guests that may not choose or can afford to stay at this hotel will certainly come and visit the Mai Tai bar for the world-famous Mai Tais. Very popular place. I don't think your visit to Oahu is complete without a visit to the Mai Tai bar. It's hard to have a bad day in Hawaii, even when it does rain, and it rains very seldom.
The Royal Hawaiian has a bird's eye view of the Diamond Head crater, tempting Melanie and Albin to get a closer look.
We decided to ride mopeds on our way to the Diamond Head crater. It's just a great way to experience the open air and the sights that Hawaii's got. Come on, Mel. Don't worry about it. Just worry about your driving. Some people might need to leave further in advance because they go really slow.
Some people just like to enjoy themselves and enjoy the ride.
Come on! Come on, Mel, keep up. Mel.
I almost hit a ped.
A ped? Is that what you guys call?
Yeah.
You crazy bikers.
I got there.
You
I saw
did.
the same crater that you saw.
Diamond Head, the world's most famous volcanic crater and easily Hawaii's most recognized landmark, provides a dramatic backdrop to Waikiki Beach. The ancient Hawaiians called it Leahi, or brow of the tuna, because the crater's silhouette looks like a great big fish. Most visitors would agree this hike is a great way to spend the day.
The hike is pleasant. You're going straight up. You're going 500 meters up. A few switchbacks at the beginning, and then the rest is just stairs.
I just can't believe how much ocean you can see from up here. Wow, the hike up this mountain just got worth it.
This is
Hey, folks made it.
amazing. It's phenomenal.
And this is the payoff. This is the $1 million view that everybody comes up here for. During the ancient Hawaiian times, there was a heiau, or Hawaiian temple up here, that had a constant navigational fire, so that canoes coming from the neighbor islands or even going around Oahu were able to get their orientation.
They could see this.
That's right.
I was not expecting to see the vastness of the ocean. I mean, you can see what you think maybe is where the ocean ends into the horizon, and it's an amazing view.
I don't think I've ever been able to so visibly see the curvature of the earth.
I
feel like
know,
I can just
isn't
see
that wild?
so much.
This is just about the prettiest view, I'm sure, on the island, right?
Well, that's why people make the hike today.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said,
That's why you walk the
it
steps.
just got worth it.
High on the list of places to see in Hawaii is the North Shore of Oahu, one of the state's most scenic spots, which, as the setting for Baywatch, Lost, and North Shore, may look familiar. Wave riders from around the world come in droves during the winter months, when the shore serves up some of surfing's gnarliest waves, of which the Bonsai Pipeline is the most dangerous. On the eastern shore of Oahu is Kailua, one of the world's best beaches. If you like swimming, kayaking, and surfing, don't miss Kailua Bay. Melanie and Albin hang out with the locals by learning how to hang loose.
There you go. Guys, welcome to Kailua Bay. My name's Aaron Sale from Vancouver, Washington, kind of along the Columbia River there. Like I said, when you're out there, you want to find a nice, long, steady paddle. The key is to really take your time and relax. It's very, very easy to overwork yourself out there. Often beginners are very intimidated by their surroundings, the waves, the people. When you're in the ocean, you're always moving, and so you slowly become more aware of that. The two things that are hard about surfing are A, the paddling, and B, reading the ocean. The biggest mistake you're gonna make is trying to get up too early. The paddling and the understanding the ocean are the hardest parts. When you slowly catch on to that, surfing becomes very, very much easier. Just gonna wash off with some water, just get that sand up.
In general, it's a lot harder than it looks. I mean, it looks like you just put down this board and you jump on and you just stand there and it's so easy. It's really difficult.
Let me just say, this is a lot harder than it looks, surfing. I have a whole new respect for surfers.
It's just scary. Pushing yourself up at a 45-degree angle or whatever, I can kind of master that, but actually standing up, that takes courage.
Thank God, when I finally was able to stand up, for at least a little ways, I felt great. It was good to get up at least once and then go out on a high note. It felt great.
Being a traveler means immersing yourself in local culture and learning a little history. Visitors flock to the south coast of Oahu to pay homage to the lives lost at Pearl Harbor, the base for the American Pacific Fleet during World War II.
Well, on the morning of December 7th, 6 Japanese aircraft carriers came within 230 miles north of this island of Oahu and launched in 2 waves 350 aircraft. Their target was the island of Oahu, all its airfields, and the naval facility at Pearl Harbor. The final cost of American lives and civilians was nearly $2,400.
Nearly half of those who perished were aboard the USS Arizona. The ship remains at rest in the bay where it sank in 1941. Above it rests a memorial for the valiant Americans who gave their lives in the name of freedom.
This memorial was constructed in the late 1950s and early 1960s and completed and dedicated on Memorial Day 1962. The architect's name was Alfred Price, and if you look at that piece of architecture, it's simply timeless, and it straddles the Arizona, not touching it except for one little piece of wire that comes down from the ship and touches the memorial itself.
A tour of the memorial is deeply moving, and the Yulees are honored to be guided by veteran Everett Highland, radio man 3rd class of the U.S. Navy, who survived the fatal attack on December 7, 1941.
Were you on one of the ships?
USS Pennsylvania.
USS Pennsylvania.
Battleship. It was Kimmel's ship, the flagship of the fleet.
What ended up happening to the Pennsylvania on that day?
We took one hit during what they refer to as the second wave of the attack.
That attack took place just before 8 o'clock in the morning. The airfields were struck, and within 20 minutes, air power ceased to exist in the island of Oahu.
The first time I was here, the first time on the cleanup, it got to me.
During the attack, Everett, an antenna repairman, was reassigned to feed ammunition on the USS Pennsylvania, which took a direct hit.
When the explosion went off, I had my right ankle ripped open. I had a chip of bone out of the right shin. I had been shot through the right thigh. My right hand was ripped open. I had 5 pieces of shrapnel in the left leg. I had a piece blown out of my left thigh. I lost part of my left elbow, part of the left bicep.
And you're still feeding ammo to the big guns.
The Navy listed these as superficial wounds.
How long were you in recovery?
9 months.
For the next 9 months, he was declared missing in action, but his brother George never gave up hope.
Well, the first thing he did was come over to the Pennsylvania looking for me, and they had me on the missing list. So I saw George about a year after the attack. He said when he found me, the only way he knew it was me was by the tag on my toe.
Everett has been one of those individuals that shouldn't have lived because he was so badly wounded. Everett remarried. He married a woman from Japan and actually met her here in Hawaii. Turns out later that she was, as a young girl, a war worker that helped sew the balloons together that they would put bombs on and let them drift across the Pacific to the United States to try to start fires in our forests.
My grandfather is a veteran of World War II, so there's something that I couldn't even put into words about being around Everett that's just sort of familiar, and I think it is just that generation of men are just heroes. So for me, being here is really personal.
It was an experience I could have never gotten from a book or a movie. To stand there with Everett in the memorial is I think, a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Inspired by the 1000 Places book, Albin and Melanie fly 40 minutes to the Big Island of Hawaii, 2,300 miles west of Baja, California, and the largest island in the Pacific Ocean. An otherworldly place of contrasts and superlatives, the Big Island is home to black lava deserts, dense tropical rainforests, 5 volcanoes, and most every climate type. If you wanted to, you could ski and surf in a single day. No wonder it's one of the 1,000 places to see before you die. The Big Island is home to what may be the world's most active volcano and Hawaii's youngest, Kilauea, sometimes called the drive-up volcano, given its accessible hotspots. William Curry prefers to take in Kilauea from on high as he pilots a blue Hawaiian helicopter through Volcano National Park.
For anyone, I would say, do not come to the Big Island and not do the helicopter tour. Over and over and over, we had people tell us it was the highlight of their experience.
Welcome to the Big Island. This island is made up of 5 volcanoes. This is all rainforest for about 20 miles off to our right front, and then you get into the Ka'u Desert. We're just crossing the first of several what we call lava fingers. These kipukas, like you see on our right, were left behind by lava flows because they're high ground. They develop their own mini ecosystems as time goes by. If we went about 14 miles from here, straight line, we would be at the Kilauea volcano. That's the one that is currently producing lava. Comes underground in what we call lava tubes. Evidence of that, right here on the left front, is the Pu'u'o'o vent. It's a reservoir for magma, molten rock below the surface. The plume of gas coming out of there is primarily sulfur dioxide. You'll see sections of the roof or ceiling of lava tubes that have collapsed over the years. They had a couple killed out here years ago. They went through the ceiling of a lava tube, just something like this. There was no lava or magma in there, but they were asphyxiated by the collective gases. From the east road closure to the west road closure behind us is about 8 or 9 miles of nothing but lava. You'll see a cliff here in just a moment. That's the original shoreline. When lava comes into the ocean, it produces hydrogen chloride gas. It is poisonous. It's called VOG, V-O-G. It's like smog, but it's the origin that dictates the name. It's not automotive or industrial in origin, it's volcanic. Now you'll see the lava pouring over the cliff here. And when it does that, that's spectacular too. Everybody gave up and moved away except Jack Thompson. His house is in front of us there. He calls it the Red Roof Lava Club. He's lived here since 1972. He's watched all of his neighbors move away, one after the next.
The Yulis now join Rob Pacheco, founder of Hawaii Forest and Trail, as he shares intimate knowledge of Kilauea, which in Hawaiian means spreading and spewing. That it certainly does. The last eruption began in 1983 and is gurgling still.
That's another thing about Kilauea volcano is that, you know, everywhere else in the world a volcano erupts, people flee for their lives, right? What do? We get in our cars and the tour buses and we come here to check it out.
Well, why do we all feel so safe about coming here to see volcanoes?
It's the nature of this volcano. This volcano is a shield volcano. It's a different lava, and we like to say it's a gentle volcano, but it has a very violent past too. But for the most part, hey, this place gets close to 1 million visitors a year.
Wow.
God.
That's a lot. So Rob, tell us about where we are right now. This is the most surreal place. It's bizarre.
Well, if you look over at this ridge over here, it lets you know that we're actually in the caldera. We're in the top of the mountain of Kilauea volcano, which is, by some estimates, the most active volcano on the planet.
What's a caldera?
A caldera is a crater that's over 1 mile in diameter typically, and generally at the top of a mountain. Underneath us are rocks that are still hot. They're not molten, but they're still hot. They've retained a lot of heat. There's a lot of rain here. We get, you know, well over 100 inches of rain a year.
The Kilauea caldera has a diameter of almost 3 miles. Eruptions at Kilauea occur primarily from the caldera and also at the east and southwest rift zones, which extend a long 7 miles down to the ocean.
That hole in the ground was actually a lava lake. If we were standing right here, you know, in 1922, we would be looking at a lake of lava bubbling and gurgling, okay? And it was active up here, you know, for 150 years. And then it drained away in April of 1924. The reason why we don't see any vegetation growing out on here is because it is very tough conditions for plants to grow on because there's so much gas coming out of here and it's very acidic. This is very tough terrain.
This has a very end of the world look to it, like nuclear holocaust.
You're on the wrong end of the spectrum.
The beginning
this is the beginning of
right.
land.
Well, this is like, you know, some of the newest land on Earth that you can walk on. And the current eruption's been going on since 1983. It's destroyed just a little under 200 homes. It's added about 500 acres of new land to the island. Check it out.
I think if NASA ever needs a place to train for landing on Mars,
They
this
did that.
is it.
They did that. They practiced the Mars rover here, the Apollo mission.
did?
The Apollo mission.
Are you serious?
Practice out here, yeah, I'm totally serious.
Oh my God.
A lot of people say this looks like the moon, but it actually looks a lot more like Mars.
There's so many different things in Hawaii.
I know.
I can't believe we're in Hawaii. I wanted to see lava rock, maybe some molten lava if possible. I didn't expect to see all this.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Easy to forget that the Earth is alive.
It's crazy to be walking around on what you know to be a volcano. By the way, another great reminder, what a guide can bring to your experience in any traveling. Rob was a walking reference on what this means and how it developed and what we're really looking at. He brought so much to our experience.
Ah, nice smell, huh? You like that?
Sulfur.
Lovely sulfur in the morning.
Yeah.
Just
It's a
incredible.
lot of fun.
It's a living classroom.
It is. This is a totally different world from where we just were.
But lava right underneath us. This lava is about 300, 500 years old. And look at this forest.
I can't believe 2 miles away is that wasteland we just left, the crater.
Let's put our headlights on.
And where are we going?
This is a lava tube.
Wow.
This is what you come here for, cliff jumping.
Oh my gosh. Oh my. So should we put these on?
Yeah, let's put our headlights on.
Well, where are we going? I mean, what exactly is
this? This is Nahuku, so this is a lava tube.
Wow.
Oh, wow, this is cool.
Really, really neat.
This island has hundreds of miles of lava tube passage. So this lava tube was formed about 350, 500 years ago. And in a big eruption, the Isla eruption, that geologists think lasted for over 100 years on the summit area here.
Wow.
This is how our lava gets down slope. So the lava that comes out of the ground cools and crusts real quickly. It forms edges, and pretty soon lava's flowing down its own little river. And over time, that river gets a crust over the top, and pretty soon it has a skin, and the lava's flowing underneath its own skin. And then as we go along, the floor and the heat wear away the floor, and you can see these ridges here.
Yeah.
So it just keeps sinking and gets bigger and bigger and bigger over time as it's used. So right now, lava is entering a lava tube right next to Pu'u'u Vent and going 6 miles down slope into these two different tubes and entering the ocean, and almost losing no temperature loss from the time it comes out of the ground to it ends the tube that it gets to the ocean.
And this is like rainforest.
Right out into a rainforest. And what a great reminder that this whole island is solid lava. Even though you're in this lush, these nice trees and everything, it's just a great reminder.
Good point. Back
when you're thinking out there and you're saying end of the world and desolation, this is what it turns into.
The Big Island is best known for beaches, but it has equally beautiful otherworldly terrain. In the town of Waimea, nestled between the volcanoes of Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea, you'll come upon the rolling hills of Parker Ranch. The best way to traverse this 150,000-acre playground is by ATV.
It doesn't feel like you're on the Big Island of Hawaii at all. I would have never, if you just dropped me here, I would have no idea where I was.
Parker Ranch was at once the biggest ranch in the United States. We're currently at about 160,000 acres. This is Puihali Corral. This is one of the first corrals that was built for Parker Ranch when the ranch was established in 1847. The Hawaiian cowboys used to bring the cattle into this area right here, about 2,000 head of cattle, and do all the castrating and branding right from here. In 1847, the cattle was brought over here as gifts to King Kamehameha, and they were just running rampant along the base of Mauna Kea. So they needed to contain the cattle. So King Kamehameha sent for the vaqueros from California to come over and teach the Hawaiians how to be cowboys.
Not only is this just a break from the beaches, it's a lot of fun riding ATVs all around the open prairie.
Okay, this is some of Parker Ranch's cattle right here. Parker Ranch right now currently has about 33,000 head of cattle. This is just one section here. One cowboy takes care of all this cattle here.
How many cattle are we seeing right here? How many cows?
Oh, probably about 300 head, 400 head of cattle right here.
Uh-oh, here they come now. Here they come, stampede.
I think I'm faster than they are.
That's never happened to me before, and I never expected the first time it happened to me to be in Hawaii.
It looks like the set of a spaghetti western. It really does.
I can't believe we're watching this in Hawaii.
I know, isn't that bizarre? Being up here, it feels like you're in the Old West. It doesn't feel like you're in the Big Island of Hawaii at all. Go back.
I would absolutely recommend to any of my friends that come out to Hawaii, especially the Big Island, come to Parker Ranch. It's something that definitely everybody should try. And I love the fact that 30 minutes from now, we'll be back on the beach in the water.
The Big Island has a distinctive shoreline, with the Kona area's jagged lava-blackened coast ominously called the end of the world. But when the Yuli see Kona's famous cliff jumpers, they wonder if that's what earned the coast its worrisome nickname.
Get in the water.
Here's a guy here. This is what you come here for. Ancient Hawaiian tradition. Cliff jumping.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
Check them out. They're gonna climb right up the rocks.
Jeez. Did that other
Look
guy
where the
get
water's going. We got a big puka right in here.
It's
big
like a cave.
Cave?
Right. So when it's calmer, guys let themselves get sucked in. There's a little shelf in there you can sit.
How far is this jump?
We're right here. You're about 35 feet up, and you can get, you can jump from down here low if you want.
I don't think I would be willing to do this. Would you?
I don't know.
Good job.
Took you a while to get out, though, didn't it?
So was it scary?
No, it's a rush. Especially down there. I mean, but the scary part, getting back out right now. The jump isn't the scary part right now.
Right.
So getting back in and not getting smashed into the rocks is really the scary part. Are you actually thinking about doing this?
I was.
I think he is.
I know that I'm not going to do it. But Alvin is considering it, and my preference would be that he didn't.
You want to jump in and you want to swim out right away, or do you want to wait for a swell that's going to take you out?
Or you want to wait for the swell to come in, and it's breaking underneath you, you want to jump. That way you're on the peak of the wave and the water's high as it's going to be. And then you land, and usually the swell will draw you out and take you out. The draw stops and sterilizes. You want to try to catch a small one in and then get to the cliff face and just grab on. Usually the next one will push you right up. You'll be right up on that shelf down there. It's like a little bench.
Well, I'll get ready.
I'm not actually okay with the safety level here. When the swells come in, I guess my fear is just that I know he's a really strong swimmer, but that the waves will be more powerful than he is and then he might hit the rocks.
That's dude, you're talking about 3/4.
Dan, you guys are rolling? Rolling?
Say when. Is this good?
Rolling, it's good right now, Dan. Dan, go.
Wait.
Up.
Ready?
You got it.
Woo! Nice, babe!
There he is.
Alive! Yay!
Now do you feel a little bit better?
Yes.
Now the second part, him coming out. Here they come.
Okay, hurry, honey. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Hurry, go, 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 go.
There we go.
Good
Look
job.
at that. Oh, let him take him out. No.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
Go now.
Go.
He's got it. He's
Good
out.
job, Alvin!
Keep moving.
We've done a lot of things on this trip, and all of them, in the end, I knew they were safe. And this, to me, still, even though you've done it, it isn't safe to me, and I wouldn't want you to even do it again. I just had this image in my head of Alvin getting thrown into the rocks, and it's just not how this trip was supposed to go.
Smashed into the rocks was not on the itinerary.
No.
Casting a fish line in Kona's waters can land you a 1,000-pound Pacific blue marlin. But if you'd rather swim with a fish than catch them, the snorkeling here is first rate. Footsteps from the water, Kona Village Resort, a tiki-lit clutch of thatched cottages, is a dreamy getaway inspired by the culture of the Hawaiians, Fijians, and Samoans, the people of Polynesia.
I am Lei here at the Kona Village Resort. My main function is to create wonderful activities for families and children. When the guests arrive, seeing its presentation gets them all excited, like, wow, are we really at a resort? Already just the looks of it makes you curious, it anticipates adventure. Like a childhood dream here. They're staying in the grass shack. When you go back by the fish pond, they can walk onto the lanai, cast their fishing poles, and it's like Robinson Crusoe. You're in a tree house right by the ancient fish pond. Honeymooners being out on the cliffs, watching the sunrise and the sunset. You're way out there in the middle of nowhere. We're miles away from a lot of commercialism. They have this whole bay that's at their disposal. Snorkeling is extreme here. It's Adventureland.
Another great Kalapalelo attraction is a centuries-old petroglyph field right on the Kona Village property.
Petroglyphs are drawings that were made by our ancestors many, many years ago using a large rock, and they pounded away onto the ground until there was enough mark to discern a picture. The petroglyph field was drawn on lava that's estimated to be about 3,000 years old. The one drawing that we see the most are the canoe sails. And we have so far counted about 70 of them. And they range in size from 1 foot to 7 feet long. The theory is that these pictures were drawn as requests to the gods for things.
My name is Jamie, and we're at Kona Village Resort in Kahubai Bay. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, Jamie. How are you?
I'm doing good. So we're gonna go ahead and explore Kahuvai Bay at Kona Village. Today in the bay, we're doing an activity called scooter snorkel. Basically, we have dive propulsion vehicles that we take snorkeling, and you can free dive and just blast through the water.
Awesome. You got it, Mel?
Yep.
The scuba scooters are a great tool for a couple that has varying skill when it comes to snorkeling or diving. When we have these, I can take the scuba scooter and just point my arms down. It'll propel me all the way down to the bottom by the reef. I can go explore little areas for 20, 30 seconds, and then it'll propel me right back up to the top so I can get some more air, spend a little time with Melanie, and then go sightsee some more at the bottom. It gives you a lot more freedom than just regular snorkeling would do.
The snorkeling with the scooters is great. You have something to ride while you look at the most beautiful sea life imaginable. And you don't have to do any work.
Stroll around the Kona Village beachfront, and you might find the Hawaiian green sea turtle, or honu, waddling around. The turtles were once on the brink of extinction, but are now thriving on the island's bays and protected shores.
These are the green sea turtles that live out on the reef here, and they pretty much spend their whole days on the reef in the morning time. The green sea turtle likes to come up onto the beach to warm itself up before it goes back out for the evening, because it is a cold-blooded reptile.
Protected by the Endangered Species Act, the green sea turtle is the star of Hawaiian ecotourism and something of a state mascot.
Very friendly because they're protected, so nobody touches them, and I think they know it.
Most first-time Hawaiian travelers come with the expectations of enjoying a luau. It's kind of a Hawaiian dinner theater, and Kona Village has the island's oldest and most authentic.
A luau is a slang term. The proper name should be aha'aina. I'd like to welcome you all to our aha'aina. In this kind of cooking, it so tenderizes the meat that it is literally falling from the bone. It doesn't look like the original whole pig. That's why you never see it with an apple in its mouth.
The fire dance represents the traditional method of training warriors to use a club lined with shark teeth. In the 1920s, the shark teeth were replaced with a modern steel blade.
The biggest thing that I'm going to take away from my experience in Hawaii is that before we ever landed there, I expected coconut trees, sand, and tropical drinks with little umbrellas in them. But now that I'm leaving, I saw so many different sides of Hawaii that I really had never seen before. I mean, we were on a ranch, a big rolling, thousands of acres ranch with cattle and horses. But at the same time, we saw this vast, cold, black, wasteland-looking area that's just new, fresh earth.
This is like, you know, some of the newest land on Earth that you can walk on.
If you think Hawaii is just a tropical resort where you sit in the sand, it's not. You can find so much more there if you just ask the right people.
You got it.
Nice, babe! Yeah! The thing that I keep saying about this trip to Hawaii is, you're in the U.S. Like, all of this is yours to enjoy. You can go surfing, you can go ATV riding, you can go snorkeling, you can do all of this, and it's in one of the 50 states. How lucky are we? We're really lucky to have Hawaii.
Look at that lady, oh!
Great! I would definitely go back there.